When rogue AI armies attack at machine speed, India doesn't just build a firewall. We unleash an autonomous superhero. Enter Sparika, India's first cybersecurity AI model. It hunts, it learns, and neutralizes AI-powered threats before the enemy even blinks. But behind every unstoppable defender are the brilliant masterminds who forged its very soul. We sat down for an exclusive conversation with its visionary architects, founders Rajeev Raj and Ravikumar Nalluri.
We will start seeing the companies shutting down overnight, human losing their life overnight just because of AI.
If I have to bring down an organization, it used to take at least 2 to 3 months. Today, the same attack with all these mythos, there are dark LLMs out there which can identify vulnerabilities in minutes and hours. There are dark LLMs already out there, about 10,000 of them, Telegram channels and dark webs, and you can just use them to identify any vulnerability and penetrate. Just staying silent and waiting for Diwali or Christmas to attack when everybody is enjoying at home.
Suddenly you are seeing 10,000 patients coming. We are in similar pandemic, especially in cybersecurity. 2 years back, nobody believed us when we said this.
They call it below the radar attack. They're coming from the same doorway. The security guards looks at him, hey, it's Ravi, I know him. And the attacker is already in your organization. It is no more a game of human-led operations. If I'm gonna put the human to do the job, it's not going to suffice. I used to investigate incidents with all the logs, systems, Excel sheets, everything open on my screen, and it take 60 to 90 minutes to do everything. The AI did the same level of investigation in 30 seconds.
And unfortunately, we have to be successful all 100 times, but wherein the attacker has to get succeed at least once.
Hello and a very warm welcome to Simulated Reality. And today, honestly, it's a very special episode because the discussion that we're going to be having with two wonderful, experienced gentlemen is something that actually impacts all our lives, cybersecurity. And the fact that I want to actually start with a few numbers which will contextualize things with for all of you watching. 194 days is what actually it takes for somebody to detect an attack when it happens in an enterprise. 74 days, I believe, is the number in terms of the solution is when it is drummed up, which is, well, a significant amount of time which is being spent, almost 9 months, as far as an attacker is spending inside of an enterprise. So, well, guess what? Two gentlemen got together. The company is called Spharaka. And they came up with something which is called Aura XP, which has 40 plus AI agents. It is then, of course, got the Spharaka LLM on top of that. And they have come up with a solution which I believe is something which is integral. You know why? Maybe because a lot of the other attacks which are happening previous to this, the tools were probably there, but they were not talking to each other. And that's probably the kind of solution that they've thought of, and that is probably what they're going to be sharing with me and all of you watching. And of course, we are going to kick off with their journey because I believe they are two friends who've been together for more than a decade. Welcome to Simulated Reality.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us here.
Wonderful. And the fact that Ravi, you are the CTO and co-founder of Spharaka, Rajeev, you are the CEO and co-founder of Spharaka. The fact that both of you have been together as friends for more than, well, maybe 2 decades.
Yeah.
I'd like to start there in terms of the fact that you both have been so deeply ensconced as far as the ecosystem is concerned. 19 years has been the realization time for you to think of the fact that this is something integral.
See, with things changing as fast as what's happening with AI, one thing has constantly been there. Cyber attacks have been there for a very long time.
Yeah.
Since the age of internet, everything went online. What changed is the speed and the scale which they attack. I'll tell you, I'll take back 19 years when attacks used to happen, and the attackers used to take about days and months to prepare. If I have to bring down an organization, if I have to find out a vulnerability and penetrate into the organization, it used to take at least 2 to 3 months. Today, the same attack with all these mythos and you call it all the AI things. This is the frontier models, but there are dark LLMs out there which can identify vulnerabilities in minutes and hours. Now, tell me about it that if you take time, which is the same 74 days or 90 days to remediate or contain an attack, how much is the damage? Every minute, every hour is a cost. So what changes the landscape? The speed, which is where the attackers are using these AI models. One is the AI frontier models, but there are dark LLMs already out there, about 10,000 of them, which is there in the forums, which you can access from Telegram channels and dark webs. And you can just use them to identify any vulnerability and penetrate. So when you have such kind of an scenario, we as defenders, and we've been defending organizations for about 19 years. We've run global SOC operations. SOC is security operations. What we realized is that it is no more a game of a human-led operations. If I'm going to put the human to do the job, it's not going to suffice.
Because of the speed and the efficiency?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's going to be the speed of the thing. So we need to bring in a machine-led operation, but definitely governed by a human.
Fair enough.
And that is where we're bringing AI versus an AI system to predict and neutralize these threats on the go.
I'm going to get into that a little later as we keep going forward in this discussion. Welcome to the show, Ravi.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.
Wonderful. So, Ravi, as far as, what Rajeev just mentioned in terms of the fact that, it's been squeezed into the hours, etc., and things like that, which is terrifying, to be honest. Now, when you were building Aura XP, what was honestly that one thing that you wanted to crack? Which you were probably saying that maybe was it the architecture, maybe was it something else that kind of really inspired you and said, okay, wait a minute, this is going to be the differentiator as far as Aura XP is concerned.
Correct. The first and most important thing is time to take the decision, right? So today, what is the reason behind we are taking 90 days or 180 days to go and then detect, remediate the attack? Because we don't have a lot of context in front of us, so that I can take a faster decision.
True.
Right? So maybe the attacker has got into my environment, he's already there for last 2 months, 3 months, but there's no visibility for me, point one. Even if I have visibility, there's no skill set for people to detect that, hey, this is actually a bad thing happening in my environment, right? Even if you have skill set, you don't have right set of tools to go and remediate immediately. You need to go through a lot of approval process, for example, right? The testing, the business approvals and everything. So all this process actually takes a lot of time. And on top of it, to be frank, a couple of years back when me and Rajeev were talking to each other, when we were so happy seeing something like ChatGPT coming out and making the things so super helpful for all the human.
Correct.
And on the other side, we also started seeing the attackers
Correct.
building their own LLMs, which means they're also preparing themselves to do the attacks fast. That's when we actually realized that we will start seeing AI-based attacks. In fact, 2 years back, nobody believed us when we said this.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, we actually mentioned this to many people.
I mean, you're talking about companies, enterprises.
Companies, friends, enterprises, many of them. Very few of them are like, okay, let's see if it happens. But many of them decline saying that, no, we are not expecting AI is going to perform that scale of attacks. But now we are seeing, just to give a simple example, a couple of months back, one of my cousin, okay, her PUC results got declared and she has to go to her college website, check the results and everything. She found her results, well, good, but she wanted to check her friend's results. There's a chat bot in their website. Nowadays, you see for any hospital website, university, there's a chat bot, right? So she went to ChatGPT and Claude and asked few questions, how I can actually go and ask a different question so that I can get my friend's scorecard. She did that, in fact.
Wow.
So she's a newbie. She has no clue how things work, how cybersecurity works.
So easily accessible.
So we are now dealing with two problems. One is the speed. The second is the number of attacks.
Also the fact that I'm hoping that the friend did well.
Yeah.
That's the third problem. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah.
I think so. Right? But actually, these are the two problems, right? Speed is one, how fast people are able to do. Second is the number of attacks. Earlier, for us, hacker or attacker means so skilled resource.
True.
He spent so much time reading books, gaining knowledge and everything. Nowadays, any newbie with using AI tools are able to exploit the vulnerabilities, get into the environment, right? So which makes it more scary. So that's the reason behind building Aura XP. So what Aura XP does is, by the way, it is our autonomous threat investigation response engine. This will help the organizations to investigate and respond to the attacks faster.
What about the detection, Ravi? I mean, that is something which I feel should be at probably the top of everyone's thought process, no? That a lot of times, they kind of just, subliminally slide into the enterprise.
They call it below the radar attack.
Correct, yes.
So there are a lot of detections. I think Ravi will speak about it. There's a lot of attacks which is above the radar. Like you detect something which is going at doing certain set of activities, we can catch them.
Right.
There are attacks which are below the radar, which act like a genuine person or genuine activity, and still attack happens.
Could you maybe elaborate that, Rajiv, with maybe an example?
Say for example, I know if you're wearing a AIM ID card, I am supposed to allow you.
Agreed.
Right, and the AIM ID card is turned back,
Right.
And that has an access card. But the person who's carrying the ID card is actually a perpetrator or somebody is coming in. And when you punch in, it just says, okay, it's green, and you allow him in, and the attacker is already inside your organization, right? But nobody did a facial recognition. That's the reason nowadays you have a facial recognitions and biometrics. When you came into here, and you had to put a biometric. So what happens is they try to abuse the trusted channels, the trusted uniforms or trusted pathways, and not coming from sideways. They're coming from the same doorway, and
It's like
you feel that they're trusted. The security guards looks at him. Hey, it's Ravi. I know him. I think
it's like that age-old metaphor, right? That age-old thought that no one will look when it's hiding in simple sight.
exactly correct.
Same logic, right?
Yes.
Same logic.
But how do you then detect that?
Right.
Because to me, that becomes crucial.
Yeah.
The point is definitely valid, right? So we definitely have to leverage AI also when it comes to threat detection. Today in the industry, the traditional approach is that there are multiple ways how we actually detect something as a threat based on the rules, for example. If I see that somebody has entered a password 5 times wrong,
Fair enough.
I think there is something wrong happening, I alert it. Typically, we call it as rule-based threat detection. The second is pattern-based detection. He's doing something like this until today, suddenly there is some spike happened, for example. Some pattern has changed, or a behavioral-based detections. Suddenly, this user has logged in from different location. Right? There is a change in the behavior, changing the way how he's actually using his computer, for example. So yeah, rule-based, pattern-based, behavior-based, these are the well-known ways of finding the detections. There are multiple ways, of course, Sigma rules, Yara rules, SIM rules, how we actually achieve it. But the interesting fact is these low radar threats, and we have to use this AI component. In fact, with just AI, we cannot detect it. We have to actually build a lot of ML models before it, right? Because, the interesting thing is there is also a problem that comes with AI. You cannot give so much data to AI and ask AI to make some sense of it out of it.
Which is pretty much what is happening with coding these days, but that's another conversation.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, it can hallucinate, it can take... That's the problem with AI. For example, if there is a person walking in front of my home, AI will say that, hey, there is a threat to your house, right? And if you ask a question, why is it a threat? It will try to, prove that AI is right all the time. It will say that yesterday itself, in the next lane, I have seen the same thing happen. The intruder had come to the house. He waited in front of the house for 5 minutes. So based on that, I'm giving this example.
Basically, sounds like a very sociopathic, neurotic friend that we all have had at some given point in time in our lives, right?
So that's where what we do actually, we also have built a technology called DRO. By the way, we also have applied for a patent for this technology.
Wonderful.
Right? What it does is, this is a deterministic reasoning algorithm or object. So what we do is we collect a lot of artifacts before we conclude something as a threat. We don't leave anything untouched.
Okay.
Right? For example, I may be logging into my computer every day 7 a.m. Absolutely fine. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm not going to suspect you. So this algorithm will always keep an eye by giving a weightage. You logged in at 7 o'clock, but for the first thing that you do in your computer is opening your mailbox. Just an example, right? If there is anything changed in that pattern, there is some score gets assigned to that. So similarly, we keep tracking of all these profiles, how they're behaving, how they're acting, what they're actually doing inside the organization, outside the organization, and how often we do it. We do it every end of the hour, every end of the day, end of the week, and end of the month.
Right.
Because there may be some monthly task you do it, right? I cannot expect this task to be done every day.
Sure.
So that's the reason there are regular intervals. We do all these kind of profilings, and anything deviating from this well-known behaviors will get a score
Immediately.
added.
Okay. Fair enough. So
Yeah.
that essentially establishes the structure aspect. I want to talk to you, Rajiv, about this. You know, there was this entire conversation which we were having earlier before we started. You know, the AI versus AI.
Yeah.
Right. So that means that the attacker has the similar kind of tools. True. The defender has the similar kind of tools. But genuinely speaking, and to be honest, the attacker always seems to be a step ahead.
True.
Right. Now, so how do you, let's say, how do you safeguard yourself against that? What do you need to do in terms of ensuring that, you know, one is not caught with egg on face?
Yeah. So it's an interesting question. With all these AI available, the AI models and the knowledge and the technology available, they are definitely faster. We have to be little more smarter than being faster.
Fair.
Faster plus smarter in such a way that your AI has to be within the guardrails of how you have to function, right? I cannot go about bring down the whole business application. No, killing a business is not a cybersecurity per se. Or protecting.
Not the
I'm saying
best
I'm
thing
protecting
to
your
do
own
for your
business.
clients,
Yeah.
but to be-
So what we have done is that the AI which we have built to tackle these AI powered attacks is that they have to have a proper reasoning, a proper evidence-based thing. So if you and I are sitting across and I say, hey, this is a attack which is happening, and this has to be contained. The primary questions you're going to ask me is that why are you concluding this as an incident, or why are you concluding this as an attack? So the AI has to give you proper set of evidences, trails, and saying a good amount of reasoning, saying that this is why I'm calling this as an attack. And only when that happens, that will be the differentiator and a smarter defense to say that, okay, boss, these are an AI attack and my AI can take actions against them. That's how it's going to be.
Fair enough. Ravi, one thing I wanted to kind of thought, you know, when you mentioned the 40 plus AI agents, why 40 plus one AI agents? Why not just one model?
Interesting.
It's like going to the general physician for everything, right?
Well done.
You need an expert for everything,
Right.
right? So the AI model, AI as a model, for example, may be one common thing, right? But the agents are designed to do their respective tasks, right? For example, one agent, if we talk about, it is so much trying to understand how user sends an email, how to identify something as phishing, for example, what is genuine, what is not genuine, or what is malicious, for example. So similarly, these 40 agents, just imagine you have an invisible army of 40 people who are always looking at your organization, protecting it, right? Because we talked about models, right? Where, typically in the dark side of things also, where attackers are building a lot of dark LLMs, what we call it.
I love the way you make it sound so ominous.
Yeah. Right? So that's where we have decided that, in fact, what we are going to do is, we still think that these 40 agents are not enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we are now working on allowing our customers to build their own AI agent within our platform.
Which actually I want to ask the both of you. You know, there is this constant conversation about generative AI. Now we are transitioning towards agentic AI, etc. Correct? But generally speaking, people are very, very circumspect about, you know, allowing agents to kind of romp around the playgrounds of the enterprise on their own, right? What are your thoughts on that? Because I feel maybe, I don't know, in terms of deployment, there are severe issues which have taken place. I'm not going to take any names of various different enterprises, but it's happened.
It has happened, and there are examples of an AI agent going and deleting the database of three years old and wrongly implemented, I would say, or the AI started hallucinating and started scaring the whole set of enterprise to take bad decisions.
I will take a name. Air Canada.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. There was an entire situation that took place where the AI agent booked some 1,247 different tickets for different people.
Exactly.
Because there was a weather issue or whatever.
Yeah. So
I just hope for those 1,247 people they were sent to a good destination. But yeah.
But we anticipated this thing happening much before we brought out our first product. And we thought to ourselves that this could be a major problem. And we did bring and build a guardrail around it, which is non-AI. We call it Ishwa. This is an intelligence surveillance for
Nice.
watchdog and agentic response.
What a wonderful name.
Wonderful name, and it kind of resonates, right?
Correct.
So what happens is, this is a kind of a discipline keeper for the AI agents.
Okay.
And if you're an AI agent, which you are looking like a human plus AI,
I don't know.
right?
I'm
Today
not
you're a
rogue
human.
yet.
Yeah, you're not a rogue AI. So what happened is, when an AI agent comes and says that this is what I found, Ravi's suspicious and he's trying to exfiltrate data. Hold on, give me an evidence.
Okay.
Show me everything what you have done. It's like a senior folk in an
Fair
organization asking, go back and show me the log. Have you checked this? No, I want to go and block Ravi right away. Sorry, you're not allowed to do so. So there are guardrails defined well within the organizational policies. You're running an organization, we say these are the 10 things you're allowed to do and these are the 5 things you should never do. So we define low-level autonomous actions, approval level autonomous action, and completely human dependent autonomous actions.
Okay.
So there are the 3 steps which you say. Low level autonomous actions, you know that the business is going to not impact, but it will certainly contain the attack. Second one is approval level, right? And I'm 99% confirmed, but I still need a human approval to do so. That will bring in another, say, 30-40%.
Fair enough.
And the remaining 20%, which is highly autonomous, high-risk autonomous actions, those are always human-led. I have done the complete investigation, and like Ravi mentioned, the mean time to take decisions is the next KPI metric, which organizations will start looking at. I've done everything. Here is the output. Go through it and take action. Take a decision faster.
Makes sense.
It's all about how fast we can take a defensive measure in this fast-paced world. If somebody is doing something, can you take a decision faster and take a defensive measure to get back to business?
Fair point.
And the speed matters here.
Yeah, for sure.
So for example, if let's assume in a hospital, for example, if you start seeing 10 patients coming in a day, absolutely you can triage them quickly, you can give them right treatment, you can send them to right doctor, everything goes fine, absolutely fine. Imagine what if in the same hospital suddenly you are seeing 10,000 patients coming.
Point
Right?
taken. Inundated. You'll be completely inundated.
Yeah, correct. So just like the pandemic situation, where we have seen. And I strongly believe today we are in similar pandemic, especially in cybersecurity. With the power of AI, the number of attacks have increased. Now we cannot simply sit and then take our own time to triage, respond, investigate, and then it's not possible.
It'll be too late.
It'll be too late, right? And in fact, cybersecurity always has a relation with the human, right? The society, basically.
Absolutely.
So that's where it is very important that we have to leverage AI to defend against AI-based attacks. And there are a lot of methods, protocols, and all these things that we have actually used while building this technology. For example, we call something as root investigations, primitive, signals. All these things will help us to do faster triage and then send them, hey, you belong to a phishing category, you go to this doctor. He's the agent.
Fair enough.
Right?
Fair enough.
So that's how it works.
So decoding that is that whatever we have learned in the last 2 decades, we did not build a fancy feature tool set, but what is required and where we burnt our fingers and where we see that tomorrow is going to be a D-Day for such kind of scenarios, we've only done that. We've only addressed those situations so that people are not wasting their time in complex tools. People are not wasting time in understanding how to use it. We're trying to simplify it, and that's where our tagline also is: connect, protect, and simplify. You just connect, you get protected, and just simplify every operation. Cybersecurity is today seen as a complex operations. Now, I believe before you click,
like
you have to do a lot of research with using AI, right? But who's there to simplify this, and why it should be not something available to a general people that he should not share his OTP. Now the awareness is growing.
That's true.
Isn't it? That's how it is.
But no, Rajeev, I think my takeaway from what you just mentioned is I completely agree with you 100% on the fact that the simpler you keep it in life, the better it is. And if it's coming from a very personal experience and something that you have a life lived experience, then it, trust me, carries a bigger impact all the time.
I'm not sure how much midnight oil we have burnt for protecting organization across the globe, and incidents happen at that hour. but you have to be awake all the time.
Wonderful. That's dedication and passion to your work. Very quickly, I wanted to ask you, Ravi, this. I mean, since you are implementing this across very different enterprises, organizations with very different structures, with very different mindsets, to be honest, right? Now, a lot of companies will probably still be embracing legacy, let's say, systems, workflows, cultures, etc. A lot of them would be far more progressive, etc. What are the biggest challenges that you might have faced during the implementation stage at the enterprise? Because I think that's a very key factor when it comes to you.
Right. I mean, not just in the implementation stage. Unfortunately, even at the very
Convincing
initial,
stage?
Yeah, convincing stage also we face some issues. Because the first question, human is human, end of the day. They're like, why should I trust this?
Correct.
I see the problem and I see you are coming with some solution, but why should I trust this solution?
Okay, I'll take from what he said, add to what you're saying.
Yeah.
He Rajiv mentioned earlier, it used to take, let's say, days earlier.
Yeah.
Now it's taking hours, seconds, minutes.
Yeah.
Now, Aura XP, when you actually go ahead and deliver the solution, you gentlemen have been able to bring it down to seconds.
Yes.
So, the
Yes.
moment you showcase that,
Absolutely.
what does then
Yes.
the response be like?
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, I would put it this way. So for any customer who has done the POC with us, they have not gone back.
Well done.
Yeah. So they have seen that because results are visible to them.
Correct.
Right? Instead of me saying, that's why every time when we approach either enterprise or SMB customers, what we tell them is, we know that you have a problem. In fact, entire industry is having a problem.
Sure.
And I have a solution. Just give it a try. Look at the results. If you find it helpful, just buy it.
Fair.
That was fine, right? And definitely this is the much needed solution at this point of time. And if you ask me about any problems that we faced during implementation, yes, right? Because every customer environment is different, every use case is different.
Absolutely, yeah.
And a lot of times your business requirements dominate cybersecurity requirements. Right? So for example, I will come and say that, hey, please close this door. There is no biometric, nothing, anybody can come in. And you will say that, no, in my business, I have to welcome anyone who is coming and I don't want to put any restrictions.
Fair enough.
Right? So that's where when we try to call something as cyber security threat, there are a lot of exceptions come from the business side of things, right? So that our platform also mark all of these as a progressive risks and then start giving them weightage. And we also have another LLM, one agent basically, we use the same LLM what we have built. That agent will help you to give the alternative ways, like workarounds, how you can mitigate these risks in a different ways, right?
Which I think will convince any person who has got, a certain sense of a safeguard in his head to protect his enterprise, if I understand that correctly.
Yeah, you're right, but the business, again, as I said, right? So they say that, no, if I say, please lock this door because there's a goal, he will say, sorry, I cannot lock this door. Then our platform...
Who's this person? I want to meet this person. I really do.
Oh, you have to meet. Next time I'm going to take you on some of the calls.
I love to.
You'll meet them.
Sir, you keep gold so happily. I'd love to see.
Yeah, and then we have to give them alternatives. Our platform automatically tells these are the threats. 10 people already tried. Luckily, your security guard was there, or we have blocked them. At least as a workaround, go for insurance.
Correct.
So that if it is stolen, you get some money back. So similarly, our platform actually helps organizations to say that you have vulnerability on the system. And I already see that there are 10 failed login attempts or 10 attempts happened from the intruders already. If you cannot patch this vulnerability, at least disconnect this from the internet.
Understood.
Right? So similarly, I'm just giving one example. Similarly, the platform automatically helps the organizations to improve their overall cyber resilience. Yeah.
I'll add one point to what he said. When we go to our customers and we said that we are reducing your mean time to investigate from days and hours to seconds, the first question they ask, the CISOs, the frontiers who are not seen all the time, but they're protecting your banks, they're protecting your institution, they're protecting your enterprises. Hats off to them.
Absolutely.
The first question they ask, can I trust it? Isn't the trust factor going in your mind right now? Can I trust this AI agent?
Which is the most important.
Most important question, right? And the trust is not just by giving some marketing gimmick today, correct?
It won't work.
It won't work, right? Speed also may not work. 60 seconds and I give you something wrong, you're done.
Absolutely.
Precision matters. If I can bring speed and precision together, and the output is precise enough, according to your context, according to your business, according to your work environment, you will trust it.
Then yes, I agree.
And the AI it becomes a companion, and what we have built AuraXP in a manner that it becomes the cyber brain of your organization, which will never leave you. You may have the best employee, the winner of every quarter, who's done a fantastic job with your customers, decides to go to a better opportunity outside the organization. The knowledge also walks away from the same door.
But this doesn't happen with this.
It doesn't happen.
I mean,
It's
one interesting example, we have seen this in one of our customer. We deployed our platform for them close to 6 months back, maybe. Of course, our model is already trained. It knows what to do, what not to do, and everything. And last month, we actually validated the decisions coming out of our own model. And that totally changed because it got adopted to customers' environment.
Must have been such a proud moment for the both of you.
Absolutely.
Like you had two dads who were saying, well done.
Absolutely. We're so happy seeing our baby like that.
Yeah, correct.
I'll tell you a very personal moment when we first built AuraXP and we wanted to test. I come from a background where I've ground up. I've been a security analyst, the SOC head, then AVP and VP of heading businesses. And I remember I used to investigate incidents with all the logs, systems, Excel sheets, everything open on my screen, and it take 60 to 90 minutes to do everything. Ravi showed me that day. It was an awestruck moment. I can still remember, and I'm gonna never forget in my life. The AI did the same level of investigation in 30 seconds. Wonderful. I was like, this is what is gonna be our objective and mission. Autonomous cyber defense. Wonderful. What you do out of this, once I finish 80% of my work, I'm here to take decisions. Decisions are taking defensive measures. We said autonomous cyber defense is the go-to model. And today, market after, we were talking about this last year, but today, people are talking about autonomous cyber defense. Nice. And we feel proud that last year we were saying and nobody trusted us, but now we're doing it.
Wonderful. Which brings me to this, gentlemen. Let's kind of maybe, if we were to look at it from a macro point of view, again, a few numbers I'll share with you. $266 billion worth, and this, I want to start with you, CEO and all that. Give him that, respect. So $266 billion is the market in 2026. Now, the Indian market is growing at 25%.
CAGR, yes.
Correct? Yes. Annually. So, Rajeev, I want to ask you this. So, in such a large market, right, it is still dominated by a lot of companies globally, right, which are having a very big lion's share as far as the market is concerned. So, I want to ask you two questions on this. One, how do you ensure that you are always ahead of the competition? One, how do you derive that edge? And the fact that are we at a point as far as Spharaka is concerned where you're building from India to then give to the world globally?
So we are definitely a made in India, but definitely for the whole community across the globe, right? The market, the 200 plus billion dollars, it's going to grow to about $500 billion. Yes. I believe that there can be a major market share which few of the large conglomerates or large organizations in the US and Europe may capture. But there's definitely a pie which is available for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
And we're not trying to capture everything in one shot. There is pieces of things which we can capture incrementally. Like for example, I'll give you, we've started with IT. This is the information technology side of things. And what we have already launched last year, also last month, was that we have already started looking at industrial security.
Fair enough.
So we are expanding every quarter and every year as we grow. We are trying to expand and see how we can start protecting the industrial side of sector. These are your machine-driven processes, the water treatment plants, the power grids, the dams, right? And there are floodgates which are opening at us, with a machine just giving a signal that, okay, the water level is rise, open the floodgates, right? So what we are slowly taking a pie into this bigger market is get into that, bring in one unique USP, which is autonomy, which is not co-assisted, not co-piloted, right? In that sense, we are capturing it bit by bit. And as journey continues, I think we will have a good market share, especially from India, because India's market is growing very fast. We've been serving the whole global community.
Correct.
In terms of service. Now you're seeing a lot of products coming out of India.
Yes.
And personally, we both have taken that oath that when it comes to cybersecurity also, we want to put a global mark that India can also build cybersecurity products which is world class and precise enough and making sure that it solves the problem.
No pressure on you, Ravi. But anyway, I have to obviously ask the both of you this, and then of course we have to get into the rapid fire. Yeah. Because, and this is important because somewhere I feel that the DPDP Act, for example, we are talking constantly about sovereignty. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there are enterprises in our country which are maybe far more inclined to go with something that has been built in India, vis-a-vis the fact that something has been built in the West, because somewhere at the back of your mind as a CEO or a CISO, you're thinking, niggling doubt, is there some black box thing here, something which will make me vulnerable? Now, let me quote the DPDP Act. India's critical infrastructure increasingly requires domestically built security solutions post the DPDP Act enforcement. Fair? Now, both of you, I want to ask you this. Is the sovereign security argument a genuine differentiator for Spharaka, or is it just a tailwind for every Indian cybersecurity enterprise? So, manufacturing.
Yeah, it is kind of a tailwind, but it's genuinely built indigenously as an indigenous technology. Today, luckily, you're not wearing an iWatch or a watch. If I come and ask you, if I come and ask you, can you give me your health records or can you give me your data things, you will never give me.
Obviously not.
I have to sell you the same iWatch, and it is capturing the data, and the data is going out. Isn't it so?
True.
Or a Fitbit, or everything is connected in some manner. I'm collecting the same data by selling you something else. So, sovereignty DPDP Act is coming very stringently on SMEs, industries, and small businesses and large enterprises, because this data is becoming the next oil, and I think its data is already an oil.
True, it is.
Right? Hosting the data within our country, within our region is more important, and I really appreciate for the policies which has come out, and it is really making good waves. Along with that, many of our customers have asked, I think you checkmark 3 things out of me. You're made in India, fully indigenous, and you're not taking the data out.
That's what I was going.
That's exactly happened, and they said, fantastic, now let me test it. Let me see, can I trust you against the global market players? Because obvious question, and I don't blame anybody saying that, hey, foreign guys are better doing cybersecurity. But if we can build that and overcome that trust, I think we have crossed that line.
Wonderful. Before I get into the rapid fire, Ravi, very quickly I have to ask you, did he badger you regarding the cost? That you have to maintain a cost factor because you're the CTO. Yeah, you did. I knew it. All right, we're going to start with you, Ravi. Here's the rapid fire. Okay. Gentlemen, the rules are very simple. Whatever pops up in your head, you have to go ahead and give me the answer.
Winner gets something?
Winner gets, well, that's a secret. That is the executive producer, the creative head, who's going to decide, who, by the way, right now is staring at me from behind the camera. But that's a different story. Now we have, of course, Ravi, we're starting with you. The one thing about the future of autonomous cyber defense that keeps you up at night?
More scariest thing that I'm seeing is probably in future we will start seeing the companies shutting down overnight, human losing their life overnight just because of AI.
Wow. That would keep anyone up at night.
Absolutely.
Okay. Best of luck. The next one. The EU AI Act is now enforcing compliance for high-risk AI systems, including security tools. Does regulation make cybersecurity AI better or slower?
Regulations always makes the security better for sure, right? Because all the regulators wants to make sure that you put right security controls in place.
Fair enough.
So definitely it's going to help you.
Fair. Final one for you. AI agents are now being deployed inside enterprise environments at scale, right? We discussed this earlier. Now, is the security industry ready for the attack surface, that huge surface that it's creating? Are they ready for it?
Not completely, I would say. We still have to prepare ourselves. We still have to improve ourselves, right? So, for example, infrastructure has become more problem now, right? The GPUs are less, the memory chips are very less. So we have to improve the way how we are actually using AI to defend cyber attacks, for example. My, again, future guess is that probably in very few months, or if not years, we will start running our models in a small computers, very small computers. And we don't need to depend on one big frontier model for everything. For example, if I need a help from AI in terms of how to make a table, I don't need a big model which knows everything, right?
Sure,
My model, no need to answer who is the Prime Minister of India. All it should know is how to make a table, for example, right? Which is hardly like, it might consume 1 GB, 2 GB RAM, not more than that. So definitely, we are not ready yet because of the lack of right infrastructure, lack of readiness, all these things. But in future, yes, we are still going there.
Wonderful, you've done well. I hope you didn't cheat.
No.
Looked at, peeked into.
I think I installed some AI in your glasses.
You stop scaring me. Okay, we start with you. Anthropic just launched Mythos 5. Yes, sir. Now claiming it has the strongest cybersecurity capabilities of any model in the world. Friend or threat?
Obviously a threat. Okay. Now, why a threat means organizations will start uncovering vulnerabilities which they have not seen or observed for years and years together, and they're not prepared for it, right? So the other way looking at it is that there are unguarded doors which you are never aware of, and AI is going to find it out. But what has come to the saving part is that you have to defend yourselves if somebody coming through that door. Be alert, be vigilant across your enterprise to do that. But it's definitely a threat.
I personally feel is one of the best marketing gimmicks ever. But anyway, that's just my thought. Salt Typhoon, okay? You know who I'm talking about now. The Chinese state-sponsored group spent months inside US telecom infrastructure before anyone noticed, okay? So what does that say about the current state of enterprise detection?
So enterprise detection is still one step behind, like you said, right? It's because it's not about that they don't know, they have all the data in front of them, right? But the amount of data which they have in front of them, it requires so much of time for them to catch up with it and to understand what door to patch, what thing to not patch. If I patch this, will the business gonna hit up? Attackers are using this leverage to stay in the network, in their enterprise, unnoticed, benign, just staying silent and waiting for Diwali or a Christmas to attack when everybody is enjoying at home. Right. Now, what do you need at that time? You need an AI system which is never taking a Diwali holiday or a vacation and protecting you, and you as a human know that, hey, yeah, my goods got delivered or my network got protected.
Nice. That's how it's going. Well said, sir.
And unfortunately, we have to be successful all the time, all 100 times. Yeah, absolutely. But wherein the attacker has to get succeeded at least once.
Only once. Where have I heard that line?
Yeah, it's a well-known thing in our cybersecurity.
Not just cybersecurity, a recent
Yes.
film, by the way. Yeah. Last question. Yeah. One cybersecurity tool every CISO should stop paying for immediately.
I would.
Come on, now be honest.
Yeah, I would say, I can't name it, but any frontier model at this moment they can use, I'll be frank that they can definitely use the AI models and the tools which is there. But if it is well within the guardrails, right, and you are ensuring you're not giving that information.
Wonderful. That's a wonderfully diplomatic answer. Now
I know,
give me the truth.
that's that. Ravi, you want to say?
Ravi can answer. I like that. Volley it back to the friend.
No, I can add something definitely, because looking at some of my friends, what they are doing after seeing AI, definitely a magical power. But you should understand how the magic works. Without understanding, you cannot simply give an attempt, right? So, I have seen many organizations thinking that I can buy some tokens, give it to my employee, my production will be like 5x or 10x. It's not the case all the time. First, you identify the use case, understand where you can apply the AI part, and then bring in your AI. Otherwise, just thinking that AI can do everything what human is doing today,
I agree.
that's bad.
But
right?
what's that one thing they should stop
So
paying
they should
for?
not simply just buying tokens and tokens without actually realizing the use cases.
Okay, so that's your subtle way of saying they should not be buying frontier models.
No, they can buy, but get to know the use case, right? Because I'm other side, I'm more worried because they are just buying these tokens, putting it in everybody's hand who have no clue how these can be compromised as well. That's my another worry.
The point is, who's winning this in this game?
At this given point in time, both of you.
I know.
You have to win, no
and
option.
in this AI game, there's only one player who's winning this, the AI model, who's the builder of this, or founder of the AI model. You ask a question, there is a secondary question prompting that, hey, Ruchi, you want to ask this?
correct.
He goes, yeah, I want to know that. Then you plug it in. Then you say, okay, there's another thing I want to do for you. You'll say yes. By the time you realize that your question was only one, and you ended up giving 10 times the money for the same question.
Makes sense. Well, gentlemen, it's been a true pleasure having the both of you with us in Simulated Reality. Honestly, it's been a wonderful journey, and may you continue on this great road ahead. The fact that you're doing some great work.
Thank you.
You're building out of India, which makes us all so very proud.
Yeah.
And the fact that there is that passion, there is that sense of excitement that you want to make sure that global models are going through. See? Who won the rapid fire?
Oh, who won the rapid fire? Okay.
We have a very balanced approach on simulated reality.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
But no, truly a pleasure having the both of you with us.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the one thing which we would forever give you very positive energy on moving forward is the fact that you would be that one reckoning brand from India which is going to compete and edge out the global competition.
I would like to give one small analogy and which motivated both of us to build Sparaka. Sparaka means a shield in Sanskrit, by the way. And we are building that invisible shield which neutralizes cyber threats. And we take a very strong inspiration from Akash Tir. It's our air defense system, which autonomously neutralizes threats before even the missile hits our airspace.
Beautiful.
And we want to become the Akash Tir of cyber defense. So that's a inspiration. That's an inspiration we want, and we want to put that on the global stage. That India is also a frontier cybersecurity leader, and that's how we're going to be. Thank you.
Goosebumps and wishing you all of the best for it. Kudos to the both of you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much. It's our pleasure.
We'll share the gift later.
Oh, we'll do that.